Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it's really nice that we are able to come full circle. I kicked off this Leeds English-Italian interpreting session, and I'll be able to close the Leeds English-Italian interpreting session, meaning that you'll all go back home filled with dread, anguish, and nightmares for weeks, probably, and I do apologise for that. However, what has been so nice about these weeks is that we've been able to mingle and network, and I always am so surprised by how like-minded people tend to network, and it's fascinating to see that a specific type of person comes to these events. I always find that people can never be judged by their outer appearance, and the same can be said about food. If you've got to know me by now, you'll understand that I am a huge fan of food in all its shapes, flavours, textures and colours. However, what really differentiates us is that not everyone has the same taste. For example, I'm not a massive Marmite fan, but there are others in this room who are looking at me as though I have lost my marbles because there's nothing better than Marmite on a piece of toast. So there you go. But why is it that I personally loathe Marmite and other people seem to revel in each spoonful? Well, apparently there's a science behind the reasons that specific people like specific tastes, and why certain foods combine better than others. It's been long understood that food is a complex story, and it doesn't only involve our sense of taste, rather all 5 of our senses. Even sight. Think about the impact that a colour may have on our perception of a specific dish. If we know that, for example, strawberries are red and they start coming in their punnets with a weirdly discoloured aspect, we won't want to buy them because we know that something is wrong and they've gone off. As well as hearing. Hearing is also incredibly important when assessing food and its quality. Our expectation of crunchiness, for example, will influence the judgment that we carry out. So everything really does play a role, and all of these senses affect our perception. However, there is no doubt that our flavour experience is mainly made up of taste, touch, and smell. Now, the sense of taste is easily connected to how we experience flavour. While tasting food, we detect 5 basic flavours and tastes in our mouth and on our tongues. These 5 are sweet, salt, bitter, sour, and umami. Now, according to food scientists, umami basically boils down to the savoury taste that we may experience, although there are some other food bloggers and food pundits who simply say that umami is that feeling of absolutely mouth-watering deliciousness that you get to live when eating something incredibly good. But there's a lot more that goes into experiencing our taste and the impact of taste. For example, take texture, freshness, and even pungency of a food. However, on average, only 20% of flavour is due to taste and touch. Would you believe it? Far more important is our sense of smell. Through our sense of smell, after all, we are able to differentiate up to 10,000 different odours. Now, you can speak of odours or fragrances, aromas, and scents, but what they all consist of is 1 or more aroma molecules. Aromas are volatile, meaning subjects which easily evaporate at normal temperatures and reach our sense of smell and all of the receptors within our nose through the air we inhale. Just think about when you're preparing a dish or you're walking down the street. The first thing that hits us is exactly the fragrance of freshly baked croissants or a soup as it's boiling on the stove. We also perceive aromas through the nose and through the mouth, making them therefore the key drivers of our flavor experience and therefore crucial for the synergy of food and drinks, i.e. food pairing. As much as 80% of what we call taste is actually perceived by the nose itself. An example, think about the smell of coffee. It contains over 1,000 different types of aromas, and it has this nice, strong, roasted smell. If you were to take a sip of your coffee while closing your nose, which is admittedly quite difficult because it will be actually nearly impossible to drink, then this coffee will turn into a bitter drink. Case in point, when speaking of coffee, have you ever thought of putting ketchup and coffee together? It's not that crazy. In fact, there is one company that says that ketchup and coffee is a great combination. A bar in the city of Ghent did exactly that and came up with a drink that apparently worked. They combined an espresso stout with ketchup, as well as adding a dash of other spicy sauces and a few other ingredients. The bartenders said that from a molecular point of view, the two ingredients share aromas, and so the two work really well together. Food experts and scientists say that by using aroma wheels, they can illustrate the percentages of scents, such as citrus scents, spicy, herbal, woody, buttery, green, and malty scents. And these are just some of the aromas that both coffee and ketchup share. Now, if you were to compare the aroma wheel of coffee and that of ketchup, you would see that both the citrus and floral scents match up considerably. That means that the more the closer to each other the two aroma wheels are, the more the foods will taste better together. This is the main starting point for food experts trying to find the perfect pairing. It tries to determine the aroma profile of a specific ingredient. I mentioned strawberries before, so let's take this as another great example. They will carry out a simple analysis using a tool called GCMS, a gas chromatography coupled mass spectrometry, and through this they will obtain the aroma profile. It looks as though a strawberry contains a few dozen of different aromas. However, in reality, only a couple do stand out clearly and determine that precise strawberry smell. After all, an aroma has to reach a certain threshold in a specific ingredient to be sensible by humans. Its main aromas tend to be fruity, green, and roasted. And would you believe it? It even has a considerable quantity of cheesy aromas, which is why it is actually a perfect combination to serve up with a bit of Parmesan or other cheese. What happens then when you've actually determined the food aroma? As a second step, you would use scientific techniques such as data analysis and machine learning to create algorithms and then see how well foods and drinks match up. As I've already said, when different foods share certain key aromas, they are more likely to pair well in a recipe. We all know that strawberry and chocolate works really well. Why is that? Because both ingredients contain an incredibly high percentage of roasted aromas. As I already mentioned, strawberry is also a perfect match for Parmesan due to its cheesy aromas, as well as basil due to its citrus aromas. It then goes on, food experts then go on to create food trees and try to match each and every single ingredient. The shorter the branch on a food tree is, the better it will taste with that specific food. So after all, ladies and gentlemen, maybe that means that plenty of people around the world are complaining about weird tastes. But after all, it could be that pineapple on pizza isn't such a bad thing. Thank you very much.